A narcissist's biggest mistake is truly believing that they are the smartest person in any room that they enter, any room that we enter, because I'm a diagnosed narcissist, right? So my mind kind of works the same way, you know what I mean? In a courtroom, their ego is a death sentence, because when narcissistic people take the stand, they feel like they're going to trick the jury into believing them, even when all the evidence points to the contrary, right? Today, y'all got a special episode. Today, I'm breaking out one of my guilty pleasures, right? Watching these court cases when high-profile narcissistic people testify in their own defense. The top 4 times recently that I've seen narcissists testify in their own defense to try to save themselves, to try to trick the jury, to try to gaslight the entire world, because the world be watching these cases, right? Like, they tried to save themselves, but they actually ended up burying themselves instead. And y'all gonna like these court cases because a lot of y'all have probably seen them. Some of them are very recent, some of them are a couple years old and whatnot. The first one I'm going to cover is Ali Abulaban. He's better known as the Gen Kid on TikTok. He used to do like the Scarface skits and his Skyrim skits or whatever. He had a wife and he had his daughter on the skits on his TikTok account as well. Got very popular, had 1 million followers, was verified on Instagram, all kinds of stuff, right? He got on the stand and lost his damn mind. He got on the stand and lost every bit of mind that he had. He treated the witness stand like honestly like a TikTok live, because he knew the cameras were on him. He knew this was he knew that this is on TV. He knew all this was going on. So he got up there and literally he killed his wife. Ali Abulaban shot his wife and her new friend in the head. Like, he was abusing the hell out of her. Ali Abulaban was a connoisseur of domestic violence. Years of documented domestic violence against his wife, Anna, right? Years of domestic violence against her, used to beat her senseless sometimes. All the way from Japan and the Philippines, all the way to America, right? Then she finally got fed up. And he was cheating on her, doing all kinds of craziness. He cheated on her, beat her, doing all kinds of craziness. And she finally got fed up and said, hey, you need to leave. You need to move out. He moved out, but he thought you belonged to him. He said, you belong to me. You're not going anywhere. I don't care if we're broken up. You're not leaving me. So they have a daughter together. So he took his daughter's iPad, left it in his old apartment that he had moved out of to record stuff. Like, he recorded, so he can hear stuff he did an open Discord chat. And so he listened to it on one end and heard another man's voice in the apartment, drove back over there, pretty much unlocked the door. He kept a key, right? He supposed to turn in his key, unlocked the door, and within 1 second of going in the house, shot Anna and her friend Ray, killed them both, and tried to play the victim. Tried to make it seem like, oh, I snapped, I didn't know what was going on, but he planned it out. He drove over there with his gun. This man hopped up on the witness stand. It was like, he was more upset about losing his career than his wife. Look up Ali Abulaban. When they were doing those jailhouse interviews, he said, my career is over, my life's over. You think I wanted this? You think I wanted this to happen? Anna caused this. He losing his mind. It's clear he admitted to shooting them, but he said he did it in a crime of passion. He didn't know Anna was cheating on him, even though their text messages revealed that he was cheating on Anna, literally cheating on her, playing in her face, cheating on her the whole time with different women, even in the same apartment that they were living in, was still cheating, losing his shit, right? So he shot them both, got on the stand, and tried to blame Anna. Anna was cheating on me. Anna did me wrong. I never thought she would do the same thing to me that I did to her. Anna. Took no accountability. None. Was cussing at the prosecutor, calling her crazy, out of her mind, calling her like talking shit, like literally cussing. It's just losing his mind on the stand, just rageful. He blamed drugs, he blamed alcohol, he blamed bipolar, he blamed everything but himself. And in the end, He got crazy. He even yelled at the judge a couple of times, y'all. Narcissistic rage on full display with Ali Abulaban. He got found guilty. He's doing a life, serving life without the possibility of parole. And even like when they did the victim impact statements, he was cussing at Anna's. He was yelling at Anna's sister. Evil man. That's number one, y'all. This is in no particular order either, right? The next one is the next one I'm gonna talk about is the most recent one that happened, right? This man actually got Ali Abulaban been convicted about 2 or 3 years. This next guy, Brendan Banfield, he got convicted earlier this year. This has been a couple months ago. Literally a couple months ago. This man hired Brendan Banfield, lived in Virginia, so the next state over from me, was married for a long time to his wife, right? was married to his wife and was cheating on her the whole time with different women, different people on adult escort websites, trying to find sugar babies. He was an IRS agent, not one of the ones who work in the office. He had a gun and a badge, like he's like a cop for the IRS. Him and his wife had a daughter, and in order to his wife worked in the hospital and whatnot. She was like a high-powered nurse in the hospital. He was an IRS agent, and they had a daughter. And so in order to help out with their daughter, they hired a Brazilian au pair, a nanny from Brazil, right? I'm not gonna call her an au pair. They hired a nanny from Brazil. Brendan started having an affair with the au pair, a documented affair. Everybody, you can see it coming. Like, you go watch the case, you can see this coming. Lying to everybody, manipulating everybody. Like, this man, instead of just divorcing his wife and being with the au pair, he convinced the au pair. He said, you know what, the nanny. He said, you know what, we need to kill my wife so we can I'll have all the money and we can raise our daughter together. And the Brazilian au pair, the nanny, she was like 21, 22 years old. Brendan is like my age. He's like almost 40 or whatever, right? And she went along with it. And they thought about hiring a hitman. But you know what he did? You know what these sick bastards did? Instead of just hiring a hitman or doing it themselves, they created a fake profile on the FetLife website, right? FetLife, BDSM website or whatever, right? Under his wife's name. Under his wife's name is Christine. Under his wife Christine's name, they created a fake profile using her pictures and convinced a man to come over there and to live out a grape fantasy. G-R-A-P-E. Drop the G, right? And and to do a grape fantasy. They convinced him to bring a knife and some rope or some handcuffs or whatever. So he comes over. Brendan, the nanny, sees the other guy. I think his name was Joe. He sees the guy Joe coming in the house with his handcuffs and his knife. Calls Brendan. Brendan comes back, kicks the door in, shoots the guy Joe, and then then stabs his wife in the neck. Stabs his wife in the neck. Kills his wife. The au pair, the nanny, calls 911. And they all fake the funk. It's like, oh, this man broke into the house and he stabbed Christine and Brendan saved me, blah, blah, blah. Police, a few months later, the police come back to the house. The nanny that moved into the master bedroom, threw all Christine's shit out. The nanny's living in the master bedroom. They just parenting their daughter like this is their daughter. They arrest the nanny. They arrest the nanny first. The nanny sits in jail for a whole year. Right? The nanny sits in jail for an entire year. And then she finally decides to testify against Brendan. Brendan gets arrested. He goes to trial. And the nanny testifies against him. She says, hey, this is Brendan's idea. Brendan created a FetLife website. Brendan did this. Brendan lured Joe Ryan over here. Brendan shot Joe. Brendan stabbed Christine. I also shot Joe. He was still moving and whatever. And Brendan Banfield got on there and just tried to make it seem. He tried to paint his deceased wife that he stabbed as a fetish, like she was in the BDSM, like, oh, she was a cheater too. She had affairs too. Try to paint her as a villain. You already stabbed her. You already killed her. Now you want to paint her as the villain here? Oh, Christine had affairs. I had affairs as well. Just sitting on the stand, smug as hell. Just as smug as he wants to be. Smug as hell. It's crazy. And then, of course, he gets busted up. He gets busted or whatever. All the evidence was against him. The nanny testified against him. Other people testified against him. The cops like he ended up going to jail. Like they found him guilty, life in prison. The au pair thought she was gonna get time served, but they gave her ass 10 years. She also should got life in prison as well, because she was also narcissistic. Brandon was probably a psychopath narcissist, but the nanny who was in on the plan to kill him, to kill two people, and to take over Christine's life was also a narcissist as well. Because how delusional are you to think that like, oh, he's setting this plan up to kill his wife? He won't do that to me though. Huh? So that's number 2, Brendan Banfield. Number 3, y'all probably already know this one. Alex Murdaugh. Alex Murdaugh. Alex Murdaugh, South Carolina, old high-powered attorney, whatever, lawyer in South Carolina, who was a drug addict. Murdaugh was a pro because he was a lawyer. He spent his life in court. Literally spent his life in court. He thought he could lawyer his way out of a double homicide. He killed his wife and his youngest son, Maggie and Paul, Mags and Paul, right? Like he did this right here. Like his body language and all the interviews and stuff, it turns out not only he's a psychopathic narcissist, he was a drug addict, he was a thief, he was stealing money from people, paraplegics, quadriplegics, he was stealing money from his clients, and all of that was catching up to him. And instead of just taking accountability and going to jail for his financial crimes and his drug addiction or whatever, you know what this man did? He decided to go home and kill his wife and son and stage it to make it seem like two 4'7" junkies did it, right? This man is crazy as hell. Shot his wife and his son in the head. Both of them. He shot Paul in the head with a shotgun, blew his brains on top of his head, and then just annihilated Maggie with a blackout rifle, like a machine gun. Just shot her up. That's crazy. All because Paul had got into a boat accident, right? Paul had driven a boat drunk and crashed and wrecked the boat, and the boat killed one of his friends that was on the boat, Mallory. I think his name was Mallory. He killed Mallory, threw her off the boat or whatever, and Mallory's family was suing Alec because Alec is Alec's boat, Alec's son. And Alec knew that when he got sued, his financial crimes would come to light. So instead of just taking his licks, paying that money, going to jail for his financial crimes, he decided to obfuscate and try to misdirect people and killed his wife and his son and got on the stand and said, oh, somebody else did it. He swore down that somebody else did it until a Snapchat video that his son had put on his phone before he died. Like before he got shot, his son had put a Snapchat video out, and the Snapchat video put Alec at the scene of the crime, right? And then Alec tried to explain it away. Y'all didn't hear. I was there, but I left really quickly. I don't know who killed Mags and Paul and Bus and Buster. Bubba the dog named Bubba, come on, Bubba, come on, brother, Bubba. People recognized Alex's voice on the camera or whatever. He tried to deny it at first, but of course, he ended up going to jail. Found guilty because he tried to deflect. He tried to blame it. He thought he was smarter than everybody else to get his lying ass up on the stand and try to make it seem like he didn't do anything wrong. He was in the right. I'm Alex Murdaugh, blah, 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 blah. Took his ass straight to jail. Right. Guilty. Double murder. And then he said life in prison for both of those crimes. But then he got like 100 years for the financial stuff. He was going to jail regardless. But his drug addiction, his narcissism, his selfishness decided, like his hubris, his fucking ego led him to kill his own wife and son. His ego led him to do that, which is crazy, insane, right? So Alex Murdaugh was probably one of the most evil on here, right? Last but not least, Robert Tellis. Robert Tellis is the guy in Las Vegas, bald-headed guy in Las Vegas, right? This dude claimed that a professional assassin framed him for murder. He even showed the jury his shoe lifts. Like he's shorter, right? So he has a height complex. He wants to be taller. So he showed the jury he wears lifts in the shoes to be taller. Like it's kind of like the Narc belief that if they lie loud enough, the world has to believe it. This man he was an evil man. Look at Robert Tillis in Las Vegas County Commissioner or something like that. I forgot his exact role, but I think it's a city administrator, public administrator. And this man literally ruled his office and had everybody in his office hating his ass. Everybody that worked with Robert Tillis hated him. They said they couldn't stand him except for one woman. Her name was Roberta Lee Kent. Roberta Kent. Of course, they started sleeping together. He started having an affair on his wife, who he had strangled and abused, right? He started having an affair on his wife with Roberta in the office. And the people in the office who hated him because he was making their life a living hell followed him, caught him banging banging Roberta in the back of Roberta's car on lunch break, right? And that made him lose his county commissioner job. And plus they showed the video of him sleeping with that woman. They showed that to a reporter. They showed it to the reporter, right? And the reporter made a bunch of articles on it. The reporter made a bunch of, his name was Gurman. Gurman made a bunch of articles on Tellez that led to Tellez losing his next election, so losing his job. And Tellez, instead of taking accountability, blamed Gurman. Instead of just taking accountability for what he had done, he blamed Gurman for him losing his job. So guess what he decided to do? Put on a fucking big straw hat and an orange vest and go stab Gurman at his house in broad daylight. In the middle of the day, he went over there and stabbed Gurman and left his body out there beside the garage. This is just crazy. Cold-blooded, cold-calculated murder because he held you accountable, because he caught you. You got caught in the act of doing something that you actually did. It literally wasn't like he had made something up. Tellez had actually did it. Robert Tellez had actually cheated on his wife and was making the work environment for everybody at the public administrator's office a living hell, right? And so he got caught up. Gurman reported on it. I think he worked for the Las Vegas Constitutional Times, something like that. I gotta look it up. This is off the top of my head, yeah. The Las Vegas Times or whatever, and got him caught up. Tellez lost his election, blamed Gurman, and decided to kill Gurman. Got on the stand. Look, Tellez is such a pathological liar that, attorneys had to take an oath, right? Attorneys said if they can't ask you questions that they know is a lie. So the attorneys told him not to testify in his own defense. He said, "Hey, look, man, you've been lying so you lie so fucking much. We can't even direct examine you." So I've never seen this happen before, but this man gave his own. He testified in his own defense through narration by himself. He got on the stand and told his story without his attorney. His attorney was just sitting there listening to him. And then he got this cross-examination was probably one of the best I've ever seen. This attorney tore Tellez's ass up. Confronted him the hat was cut up, this big straw hat the killer had on in the camera, because it all got caught on camera, was in Tellez's house. The shoes the killer wore were under Tellez's couch, cut up in pieces and stuff like that. Why would you cut the shoe up? I don't know who put it there. Sir, it was not me. Sir, I didn't do that. Sir, it was not me. I don't know who did it. Whoever stabbed Mr. Gurman was not me. I didn't stab Gurman. Everybody knew he did it. And he thought he could trick people into believing that he was innocent. He didn't do anything. Rabble. And got up and decided to lie. One of the last questions that the prosecutor asked him, he's like, "You're just the biggest victim." He said, "You're the victim in all of this, right? Not Gurman, not everybody else, not your wife who you strangled or beat, not the people you tortured in the office, not Roberta Lee Kent. You're the biggest victim here, right?" He said, "Yes." And the prosecutor said, "No further questions." Of course, they found his ass guilty, life in prison. I think he hasn't got sentenced yet. This is last year. Well, he might have already got sentenced, life in prison for murder, whatever, right? So, are there any narcissists that I missed, right? If y'all want episode 2 of this, part 2, I have another one I thought of when I was just talking to y'all. I forgot about this guy. He shot his wife in the face and whatnot. But the biggest takeaway from this is that why you ask yourself the question, why do they take the stand when they know they're guilty? Because their ego won't let them stay silent. It won't. The ego is so loud. It's just like, I can trick them. I can talk them into believing what I want them to believe. They think that they can charm the jury just like they charmed you, like in a relationship. But the facts don't care about a narc's feelings. So leave it in the comment section if I missed one, or if you've seen any of these court cases. I like watching people testifying their own defense, y'all, especially when I know they lying. I just could read through them. I'm like, you lying bastard. But anyways, y'all, this video ran on kind of long. If you made it this far, put a flame emoji in the comment section. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Mentalhealness.net for all things Lee Hammock, and I am out. Peace.